All right, let's talk about this further. And Ognyan Georgiev is a fellow at the Visegrad Insight. That's a platform that generates future policy decisions for Europe and transatlantic partners. And he joins us now live from Plovdiv in Bulgaria. Welcome to the programme. Tell us, what are you expecting from this meeting to discuss the EU energy?
Okay, hello, thank you for having me. I expect Bulgaria and Poland to put very clearly on the table the fact that they refuse to pay in rubles, just as the European Commission suggested countries do. And they would ask the other European countries to find a solution to their problems. Now, Bulgaria is in a bit of a heavier situation because we depend more on Russian gas than Poland, but we are outside of the heating season. So it's a manageable situation for now. The big problem would be, what would the other European countries decide collectively on doing on this sort of blackmail from Gazprom?
You're calling it blackmail. And you know, during the peak of the Cold War, Russia didn't even then cut off natural gas to Europe. Why is it doing it now?
I think it's a game of chicken, let's call it this way. Russia says, I'm going to break the contracts and I'm going to do it my way, and you're going to oblige. And then European Union said, we are not going to oblige, but now the payment is due. And this is where all comes down to. This is what all comes down to, because Bulgaria and Poland were the first in line to pay. And they said, no, we are going to abide by the contracts. And then Gazprom said, well, it's okay, but we are changing the contracts. And then they cut it off. So now it's up to the European Union to decide whether they would call this Russian bluff, let's call it, or maybe not a bluff, and what are they going to do about it?
But just
it's a heavy situation.
Indeed, and just very quickly, Ognyan, how stuck is Europe right now? Because some of the options I've heard about, for example, building liquefied natural gas terminals would take, if they start right now, for example, Germany, would take 2 years.
Well, that's an optimistic side. Let's take Lithuania, for example, which diversified from Russia, and it took 10 years from building the plant to operating it and to actually acquiring the LNG, because LNG also has customers and they are waiting in line for that. So it's going to take a lot of time if we start to do it now.
For more than 2 years.
More than 2 years. But it seems to me that we don't have any choice. I mean, what are we facing otherwise?
On that note, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Ognyan Georgiev. Appreciate your time and analysis.